What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the next Detroit Lions Talk. It's good to see everybody here bright and early. Usually we have to wait a couple minutes for people to get here, but it seems like people are excited as we had over 8 people waiting here in the chat before the stream even started. So thank you all for being here. Obviously, as many of you know and many of you found out this morning, my channel did surpass 1,000 subscribers. I'm not going to get super emotional. I'm not going to take up the whole stream with this, but I did want to mention it. I did want to talk about it. It's a big deal. I'm very, very appreciative, obviously, very grateful for everybody that has subscribed, everybody that has, come around, everybody that has watched a video and subscribed. I'm appreciative for everybody. It has not passed me by. It is not, it has not slipped my mind that you guys are the reason I have 1,000 subscribers. It has not slipped my mind that you guys are the reason that I am the Detroit Lions fan of the year, that I'm a member of the Detroit Sports Alliance, that, a lot of the things that have happened to me, a lot of the positive things in my life recently have been because of you guys. So I just want to start this off by saying thank you for 1,000 subscribers. Thank you for helping me get there. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for being around. And thank you especially to everybody that shows up to these streams on the daily. I know Dr. Detroit, Looney Tune, Joey 2 times, One Pride 40. All you guys, you can call me Funk. All of you guys are, some of the top supporters, guys that are here day in, day out, guys that are every stream, and I appreciate each and every one of you. So thank you all very, very much for that. Thank you all for helping me hit 1,000 subscribers. And, hopefully we can continue to grow the channel, and hopefully we can continue to get better, if I could speak. So with that out of the way, with the thank you and all of that being out of the way, today we are going to start with this, as you guys kind of start with comments, as you guys kind of start with questions to talk about Detroit Lions. Today, I wanted to start the stream with this. Now, this is the trade that happened a few days ago. Maybe 2 days, 3 days ago. I can't remember for sure, but it was the 3-way trade between the Miami Dolphins, the San Francisco 49ers, and the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, obviously, this does not directly affect the Detroit Lions. They're not changing any picks or exchanging, moving anywhere in the draft, but this will take a very, very large effect upon our Lions. So, well, here's Luke G's field review. He says, congrats again, Ryder. Thank you very much. I appreciate you, Luke. Obviously, of course, the DSA is one of the biggest reasons I'm here right now, and one of the biggest reasons I got to 1,000. So I appreciate each and every one of you for your help as well, every member of the DSA, if they see this. But getting back to this Miami trade. So Miami was very, very busy a couple of days ago. They traded for the San Francisco 49ers 12th overall pick. They got a 2022 first round and a 2023 first rounder in return, as well as that 12th overall pick. Then they traded back up with the Eagles to get the 6th pick and the 156th pick for pick 12, pick 123, and a 2022 second rounder. It was quite the trade. It's going to impact the Lions a lot. It's going to be very, very impactful. That's my dog lay down. But, it's going to be incredibly impactful. It's going to be a very big move, and it's going to affect the Detroit Lions a lot. So today I wanted to start this video off as questions start to come in and as we start to talk about Lions stuff. I wanted to start off with this draft because, of course, this is going to affect the Lions, right? The 49ers are picking ahead of us now. The Eagles are not. They're no longer picking ahead of us. So Joey 2 times in One Pride 40 says the Fins are playing mad at this point. I mean, pretty much, man. Pretty much. But of course, you see the Jacksonville Jaguars still at pick 1. The Jets are still at 2. San Francisco is now at 3. They sit ahead of us, which could be big. Then you got Atlanta, Cincinnati, and Miami still ahead of us. So really the only thing that changed is really, of course, the San Francisco is now in the top 10. They're now ahead of us versus the Philadelphia Eagles. And unfortunately, it seems like the 49ers are more likely to take a quarterback than maybe the Philadelphia Eagles. So I wanted to go through this mock draft, kind of go through how I see this playing out and how I see this affecting the Lions draft stock. So, of course, Trevor Lawrence is going to go at number 1. I think that's pretty obvious. That seems to be the consensus decision at this point. Zach Wilson seems pretty likely to be going at 2. I don't think Sam Darnold is as bad as many people believe. I think he's got some talent. I think he has some potential left. And I think Adam Gase just really, really stunted his growth very similarly to how Matt Patricia stunted Jared Davis's growth. So I think that is, but I do think that it's pretty realistic that Robert Saleh coming in is going to, just want his guy. He's going to want his quarterback. He's already restarting. And, I think they're going to take a quarterback. It's very similarly the 49ers. I think they're going to take a quarterback. I think it's Justin Fields. Justin Fields to me is the better quarterback. Justin Fields to me is the better player with a little bit higher potential, a little bit better arm strength, better arm talent, and kind of has very similar qualities to what Trey Lance has going on. And 1 second, please. But I think Trey Lance and Justin Fields are pretty similar prospects, and it doesn't matter one way or the other whether you have one going before the other. But, I think that's how that one's going to work out. Dr. Troy says the real question is, do you trust the Lions manager to make the right choice? I do. I think that they're going to make the right choice. I think that they are going to make a good draft selection. Hopefully they trade down. I think they will trade down if the opportunity is there. And based off what I've seen so far from this management, I do trust them to make the correct pick. John Davis says Goff will be good. Hopefully we end up with Penny. Now, I don't see that. So, I'll obviously get into that as we get a little bit farther down the board. The Falcons are on the board at 4. I actually don't think they take a quarterback. They have, I kind of mentioned this yesterday, they have Julio Jones on a really big contract, and Calvin Ridley is going to be asking for a lot of money very, very soon. Maybe as in next year, the year after, he's going to be asking for a lot of money. So I don't think they take the quarterback yet. I think Matt Ryan still has a year or two left on his contract. I think he still has a year or two of solid play left in him. And I think they actually take a weapon, whether that be Kyle Pitts or Jamar Chase. I think they take Kyle Pitts because it's a bigger need. You can, of course, fit 2 wide receivers on a tight end on the field better than maybe 3 wide receivers deep. So I actually think the Falcons go with Kyle Pitts early. Now you may disagree with that, but that's kind of how I see it playing out. I think they're going to take a look at a weapon. They're going to try to give Matty Ice as many weapons as possible, and they're going to try to move forward, they're going to try to move forward and win as many games as possible with these big time veterans, these, franchise icons in Julio Jones and Matt Ryan. They're going to try to win one more Super Bowl. They're going to try to get back to that one more time before they decide to blow it up and kind of restart. At least that's how I see it happening. Now, John David says, Brad has been great so far. 100% agree with you. Brad Holmes has been a very, very good general manager. Joey 2 times says, at Dr. Detroit, we got to let them shoot their shot. Fair enough. John David said field is too small. I don't necessarily agree with that. I agree. Just hope it's not a wide receiver. Yeah, if it's a wide receiver, I'll be upset. But if it's not a wide receiver, then I'll be okay with it, I think. John David, I'd rather have Slater, but I wouldn't be mad at either. I would rather have Slater. Slater's probably my number 1 choice. Or realistically, if Penny Sewell's off the board, Jamar Chase is off the board. Of guys I know for a fact are going to be at number 7, Rashawn Slater is one of the top guys on my list as well. Zach Wilson will be better than Trevor Lawrence. I think it's possible. I think it is. His pro day, he looked really, really good. So I would not be surprised. Chill. As much as I like Wilson, he won't be better than Trevor. I think there's a possibility. I think they both got some real obvious. Of course, they have some really good qualities. Of course, they're all going to. I think they're all going to find success in the NFL. I don't see a reason why all 4 of these quarterbacks can't be successful. Now, statistically, that probably won't happen, but I think that any quarterback has a realistic chance of being better than anybody else. You look at Andrew Luck, right? He was touted to be this all-generational quarterback, very similarly to Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is the next Andrew Luck, and Russell Wilson ended up being better than him taken in the 3rd round. At the time, nobody would have said, I think anybody's going to be better than Andrew Luck out of this class, and Russell Wilson did it. So I do think there's a pretty realistic chance. I think there's a pretty realistic possibility that Wilson is going to progress and he's going to be a better quarterback than Trevor Lawrence. Not that Trevor Lawrence will be bad or anything like that, but I think it's a possibility to keep an eye on for sure. Dr. Detroit says, I really want you were proposing an OT than a wide receiver, linebacker, wide receiver. Fair enough. Watch Jets grab Sewell and drive everybody but Donald crazy. If they got Sewell, because their tackle they drafted last year, whose name is Mekhi Becton, he was really, really good his first year. He was really good as a rookie. So if they got Sewell, that would really, really complete their line. But I don't think their offensive line is really the worst part, especially at the tackle position. So I think they're going to go with a quarterback, but if they do grab Sewell, which I think is a possibility, their offensive line would be very, very scary. Might be good, says I was your 1,000th subscriber. Thank you very much. I appreciate it very, very much. I don't think too much changes. Seriously, everyone figured someone would move up to the top 4, so I don't see much difference. Lol, you still think Fields has more arm strength? I think he does. Now, Cincinnati Bengals, I think take Penei Sewell here. I don't see a reality where he slides past 5. Like if you're the Bengals, your franchise quarterback literally just tore his ACL and his MCL. Like he literally almost couldn't play football anymore. It was a bad, bad injury. So I think, and especially with the Bengals' poor offensive line, I think you kind of have to. You have to take the best offensive tackle, best offensive lineman available to go protect Joe Burrow. And, he needs some weapons as well, but I think this wide receiver class, this class as far as weapons in general, tight ends, receivers, running backs, is very, very deep. And I think you can get a better weapon later for Joe Burrow, and I think Penei Sewell is the ideal pick right there. Going to the Miami Dolphins, I think Jamar Chase goes at 6. I don't see, very similar to Penei Sewell, I don't see a reality where Jamar Chase falls past the 6th pick. The Dolphins need a wide receiver. They're going to try to give Tua as many weapons as possible. And with that being the case, that leaves the Detroit Lions really in a similar situation. Kind of like one funky Lions fan says, kind of leaves them in a similar situation. And James Williams says Falcons have that I don't even know what that means, but okay. I would be totally mad at a wide receiver, to be honest. I would prefer it over. I wouldn't be mad. Honestly, I wouldn't. I would prefer, unless it's Jamar Chase, I'll take Slater over any other wide receiver. 1part40 says, I think the Finns want Pitts. They might want him, but like I said, I don't necessarily see him falling past 4. I think the Falcons are going to take a weapon that, just based on how I see their team right now, that's kind of where I'm evaluating. That's kind of what I'm thinking, is they're going to take a weapon, try to, of course, with Julio Jones getting older, his contract not being the greatest, with Calvin Ridley about to ask for a lot of money, with Matt Ryan already being on a massive contract, I think you see them try to get a younger weapon to replace either Julio Jones. So you could see Jamar Chase in there to replace Julio Jones after he retires or after he leaves, or you could try to see that, I think you could see them realistically taking Kyle Pitts at 4 just to, give Matt Ryan that extra weapon to have both Julio and Calvin Ridley on the field, as well as having Kyle Pitts. So that, that's just another weapon to put on the field at the same time to help them be successful now and later. Congrats on 1K. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. 2 picks left, and I see at least 4 players I'd like the Lions to pick. Yeah, like I said, the 49ers pick really, it doesn't change all that much, but it does, I believe, leave the Lions with 1 extra weapon and 1 extra choice. Now, whether that be the Philadelphia Eagles, we're going to take a quarterback or not, is pretty controversial, is pretty, questionable. But I think this almost solidifies the fact that Trey Lance will be there at 7, which could up the trade value a lot. And I think I think teams are going to get desperate now. I think there's going to be some teams, like potentially who's desperate for a quarterback. I know Carolina, but they're 1 spot behind us. They might want to trade up with us just so we can't take that quarterback. Denver's a possibility for a quarterback. You have, who else? You have New England, who could potentially get a quarterback for the future. You have the Chicago Bears, who, yes, they drafted Andy Dalton, and I wouldn't, unless it's a haul, I wouldn't give the Bears a 7th pick, but there's that possibility. You have the Pittsburgh Steelers, who could potentially look to trade up. You have the Saints, who I don't think the Saints are going to trade up, but and maybe even the Buccaneers if they're trying to future proof. So there's a couple of teams left that I think could trade up. And of course, with the 49ers getting a little bit more aggressive, with them getting a little bit more, getting obviously higher in the draft class, sitting at number 3, that could make a team very, very desperate. And if Fields is sitting there at 7, if he falls all the way to 7 and somebody thinks, oh, shoot, Carolina's going to take him, oh, shoot, Denver's going to take our guy at Trey Lance, I think that could make them desperate to trade up, leaving the Lions to get even more return and more capital. So there's always that possibility as well. By the way, I'm the Darren Man dude. All right, bet. What's up? How you doing? It would not surprise me if Mack Jones is one of the top 4 quarterbacks taken. It would surprise me, to be honest. I don't see, for me, my quarterback rankings, the top 4 are the top 4 consensus. It's Lawrence, Wilson, Fields, and Lance, not necessarily in that order, but those are my top 4. And then I kind of see them in that top field. And then I kind of see Mack Jones in that a little bit below. It's like those 4 are A tier and Mack Jones is B tier. So not that Mack Jones is a bad quarterback, but I think that's how I evaluate the quarterbacks anyway. But I've seen some talk and I've seen some speculation about him potentially going a little higher. Joey 2 times says, fair enough. I just wouldn't see Chase or Pitts or Waddle as a disaster. I don't think they'd be a disaster. I don't see them being bad picks necessarily. I just don't know if they're the best picks is my whole thing. Yo, what up, James? I'm going to laugh when New York takes Pitts at 2. I would laugh so hard if that happened. If a tight end gets taken at 2, I would laugh that'd be so funny. Trevor and Justin are buzz. Zach Wilson is good at sports, but a horrible leader. I don't think that's true. One, I don't think Trevor, nor do I think Justin Fields are going to be a bust. I think Trevor Lawrence is a little bit more self-sustaining. I think Justin Fields is going to be very dependent on the situation that he's in. And that's why I like him to the 49ers. Because, with that, I just thought of something, but I'll go back to it in a minute. I think Justin Fields in that 49ers system is going to, of course, put him with Kyle Shanahan, one of the better offensive minds in the NFL. And if anybody is going to develop Justin Fields into a top NFL quarterback, it's going to be Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan has, gone to a Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo. And regardless of if you like Jimmy Garoppolo or not, a lot of people don't like him. A lot of people don't think he's the answer. I think Justin Fields is a higher ceiling, and I think Justin Fields can take you farther and make some throws that Jimmy Garoppolo simply can't make. So that's kind of my view on it. So I think if Justin Fields does go to the 49ers, I think he'll be successful. I think Trevor Lawrence will be successful regardless because he's just so darn talented. And then Zach Wilson, again, very good player, and I don't think he's a poor leader necessarily. I haven't seen anything come out from his teammates or his coaches or even in the NFL media who would love a story like that says that he's a bad leader of any kind. So they can ruin him. Maybe. Is this upcoming season a tank year again? I don't think so. I don't see this as a tank year. I see this as a 7-8 win season for the Detroit Lions, getting a culture, getting a tradition established. And then I think next year, the 2022 season, 2022 offseason, I think you're going to see the Lions make a lot of moves, earn a lot of cap back from, the Matt Stafford cap being gone, with, Trey Flowers potentially getting off the books. You see a lot more cap space develop for the Lions. And I think you see them make a couple big moves. I think you see them make a couple really impactful changes to the organization that's going to put them from 8 wins to 10 wins, 11 wins. And that's when you're going to start seeing them be competitive. But I don't think this year's a tank year. I think this is a year to get everything right, get everything in order, everything situated so that next offseason they can really go hard at free agents and go hard in the draft with all their capital and really put together a young, talented core to go be successful for many, many years. But to answer your question, no, I don't think this year is a tanking season. Now, the thing I just thought of a couple minutes ago was, what if the 49ers just traded up to 3 to have more capital to trade for Deshaun Watson? What if that was the case? What if that happens? That would be crazy. Like, what if they don't want a young quarterback? What if they don't want a Justin Fields? What if they're just like, you know what? We'll take Deshaun Watson. We'll take the veteran. We'll take the all-pro caliber quarterback, even with some, off the field issues, admittedly. We'll take him, give you the 3rd overall pick. We'll take Deshaun, and we'll be happy both ways. Like, that could be an interesting thing to look at. I just thought of that on the spot. Motor City Sports, not much, bro. We should trade down if Penny and Chase are gone. I agree. I think that if those 2 are gone, I would trade down. Or, if Zach Wilson's there, I'd take Zach Wilson. But other than those 3, if nobody else is there, I'll trade down from that pick as well. We should trade down no matter who is available. I think there's a point, right? Penny Sewell is really good. Jamar Chase, I think, is a generational wide receiver. It's been a very long time since we've seen a wide receiver like Jamar Chase come out of the draft. So I think there's a couple players there that if you can take them, if they're sitting there, then you have to take them at 7 because they shouldn't be there at 7. But I think more likely than not, those players will be gone, and we will see and a trade down will be probably the likely in the best situation. You have to threaten to take Lance here or you lose leverage in the trade down in this case. Now, I agree. And I think the Lions are actually trying to do that. I think the Lions are trying to threaten to take Lance. They've shown up to Lance's pro day. They've talked to Trey Lance a bunch. Brad Holmes is kind of, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Like, I like the quarterbacks in this class. And it's not very likely that the 3 are going to be gone. Like, it seems pretty likely Lance is the only one that's going to be left. And Brad Holmes is like, well, I kind of like these quarterbacks. Like, I think he's playing the NFL. I think Brad Holmes is being a little bit sly, being a little bit sneaky. And I think he's really trying to hype up Trey Lance, showing up to the pro day because both Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes went to Lance's pro day. They both talked to him at his pro day. Of course, like I just said, Brad Holmes is like, I kind of like this quarterback. I think he's really trying to hype up Lance to get trade value. I think he's really trying to set up the NFL to trade up and give a haul for Trey Lance, especially if you're a guy, especially like I said, Carolina is only 1 pick below us, but they want a quarterback. I'm almost guaranteeing they want a quarterback. And like we saw with the 49ers, they traded up 7 spots? And they gave up a lot of draft capital. Even trading up 1 spot could get us a decent amount of value, especially if they're that desperate for a quarterback. So I think the Lions are hyping up Trey Lance for not a lot. Give me one moment. I don't know what they're up to, but they're being loud. This trade that happened has to make us ride with Goff. Think about it. 3 to 4 quarterbacks are going to go in the top 5. If we want one, we would have to give up to get in the top 4. I don't see that. I don't see 4 quarterbacks going in the top 4. That argument, that big decision is really made by the Atlanta Falcons, whether they're going to take one or not. But I don't see them taking a quarterback in this class. I see them waiting for next year, but that's just kind of how I see it. Dr. Detroit agreed they got to do their due diligence. I agree. I hope the Falcons take Parsons so we can shut this Parsons to Detroit down. I don't see Parsons top 4, but it's possible. I get that, but for leverage, you have to make teams believe you want Lance. And I think that's what the Lions are doing. I think Brad Holmes is saying all the right things, and they're making all the right moves to make it seem like they really want Lance. And the only reason I don't fall for it is because I just don't see it that way. I don't see it, and maybe that's just me being a little biased towards my own opinion, but I don't see them taking it. But Brad Holmes has taken a lot of steps that seem like he might want to take Trey Lance, and whether that's true or not, we'll find out on draft night. I like Mack Jones a lot. I think Jones is going to be a dark horse. I think he's going to be a late first-round pick. I think Chicago is potential for that. Pittsburgh is a potential for that one as well. I think Mack Jones is a good quarterback. I don't think he's a bad quarterback. As I said earlier, I think he's that 1 tier below like a Fields and Lance, but that doesn't mean he's a bad quarterback for any reason. Smith will drop a bit. I think Devontae Smith does drop because I don't see the Lions taking him. And just for this sake, I'm not going to trade down. But if this was the board right now, Lance, Waddle, Smith, Rousseau, who I don't think is a top 10 talent, and then Rashawn Slater, I'm taking Slater. And then if I'm the Panthers at that point, I'm taking Trey Lance. And then if I'm Denver, Denver, they don't really need a wide receiver, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, not really needed. They might take an offensive lineman. They might take a cornerback, to replace some guys they're losing. They might take a linebacker. They might take Micah Parsons here, but I really don't see them taking a wide receiver. So just for sake, let's just say they take Patrick Surtain, right? Not necessarily what I think is going to happen, but it's just possible. Then you have, the Dallas Cowboys. They're probably going to take a cornerback. So I see J.C. Horn or potentially Caleb Farley. You have the New York Giants. They might take a wide receiver. I think it's possible, but they already got Kenny Golladay. They just put a lot of money into Kenny. They have Who's the one kid? Darius Slayton, who's still there. That's a pretty good 1-2 combo. They don't necessarily need that. They could always go offensive lineman. They could always go linebacker. So let's say they go Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. They need linebacker for sure. The Philadelphia Eagles need a wide receiver. They could very easily right now take Jalen Waddle. You go to the Chargers. They still got Keenan Allen. They still got Mike Wallace. I don't see them taking all that. I see them taking an offensive lineman to protect Herbert. You go to Minnesota, they definitely don't need. They got Adam Thielen and they just got Justin Jefferson. They could take an edge rusher. Let's say they take Gregory Rousseau at 14. You got the Patriots, who just put a lot of capital. They just signed 3 or 4 wide receivers. They could take Devontae Smith, but Micah Parsons is right there. They could use a linebacker. Their linebackers are old. Their defense did not play well last year without Dante Hightower. He's coming back. He opted out last year, but he's getting older. I think you see the Patriots take Micah Parsons. That seems like a Patriots kind of pick, guy that has some off the field issues, but a guy with a lot of talent that Bill Belichick would be dying to get. Then you go to the Cardinals. They definitely don't need a wide receiver. They're stacked at wide receiver. They, what do they need? Maybe interior defensive lineman. Okay, let's go Christian Barmore. You have the Raiders. They could take him. I think that's possible, but you have Henry Ruggs there that's still there. You have the kid from Clemson whose name is escaping me right now, but I mean, maybe you see him go here, and that's a possibility, but it's not guaranteed. So there's that potential. I don't know what else. The Raiders could always use some more defense. They could always use their offensive line was just absolutely ravaged, so they could go an offensive player. I think that's pretty realistic. Their offensive line, Rodney Hudson's gone, their tackles are gone, like one of their guards is gone. They only have one returning offensive lineman, so maybe they look to go offensive line. The Dolphins just picked a wide receiver. They don't need that. They're going to go and let's see, what else are they going to get? They're going to go replace Kyle Van Noy, who just left. They're going to go get Zaven Collins. Then you have the Washington football team. Well, they just signed Curtis Samuel to go pair with Terry McLaurin. They don't really need that. Maybe they go upgrade their secondary with Caleb Farley. Then you go to Chicago. Allen Robinson is still there. Anthony Miller is still there. You have, some other guys that are okay wide receivers. They could take Devontae Smith for sure, but maybe they want a quarterback. Maybe this is where you see Mack Jones come off the board. Then you go to the Colts. The Colts, I think, are the first team right there that take that wide receiver. That's Devontae Smith. Now, obviously, that's not guaranteed, and that could not necessarily be realistic, but yeah, Devontae Smith could very, very well fall. I think he's going to drop a bit. Jones analytics are better than the top 4 QBs. Yes, but the Nick Saban offense is doesn't force your quarterback to do a lot. So analytics are one thing, tape is another. I don't see it on tape. I would love a Denver move. I'd be happy with the Denver move as well. The first 4 could be, then the next 2 could be OTs. Atlanta trades back. That could be. That's possible. Atlanta could very well trade back. That's a possibility that I could see. Dr. Detroit says, because we could take anyone at 9 and I wouldn't be mad. That got cut off really weird. But yeah, and I agree. I think Holmes and Campbell were at Lance's pro day to keep up the mystery before they were actually interested in Lance. I think that's true too. I think that's very true, and I'm following with you for there. Trade one back because the Panthers want Lance, and then at pick 8 take Devontae Heisman. I'm not a big fan of this Devontae Smith, and I just kind of did. I think he's going to fall a lot in the draft just because the need for wide receiver isn't there for a lot of teams. Mack Jones is a project QB. That's why I got him going at 20 to Chicago. I think he's, if he's there, if he is there, I think the Chicago Bears take him, and I think they pair him with, Andy Dalton, and they let him figure it out from there. Who you taking at 7? I'll take Rashawn Slater out of everybody that was there. Don't forget, it was rumors that San Francisco was really interested in Trey Lance. Yeah, that's true too. But like I said, it at the top of the draft, it didn't really matter one way or the other. It was either going to be Fields at 3 or Lance, and then the other one was going to go at 8. They're interchangeable, whatever one you want to go with. I think the point still stands. Northwestern tackle, that's who I took. What up, though? What up, though? Go Lions. How you doing today? God, no Smith kid will get destroyed on his first drag route against Chicago. Yeah, that's why I have him falling a bit. I think he's a little undersized, and why that's not going to make him a bad wide receiver, I don't necessarily think he's like, I know he won the Heisman, but if Jalen Waddle was there, he wouldn't have. If he's not even the second best wide receiver in this draft class. Like, he's at best the third wide receiver, and that's that's not debatable. I think he's the third best wide receiver in this draft class. John David says Fields is a bust. I don't think so. I think it's going to depend a lot on what situation he goes into. So that's just me. Wait a minute. Lance isn't going to be on the board at 7. I think he will be. I don't see like I said, I don't see the Falcons taking a quarterback, but that could just be me. Now, Parsons would be a disaster. Parsons is a bad choice so high. Like I said, it seems like a Patriots pick to me. It seems like they kind of need linebacker. Their linebackers are getting a little older. Their leaders are starting to leave. Micah Parsons, I'm not going to say name, but they've had some troubled guys there in the past that Bill Belichick has gotten right. And Micah Parsons has the talent. And if anybody's going to use Micah Parsons to the best of his abilities, it's going to be Bill Belichick. So I think that actually fits the Patriots really, really well. And I wouldn't take him at 15, but the Patriots are in a very different situation than the Lions. Parsons is the Liverpool pick. I don't think so. Yeah, I think the Niners want Lance. That's fair. But like I said, it doesn't really change a whole lot. It does, if you want to put Lance up here and Fields down here, I think the point stays the same. So when do you think defensive line will get addressed in the draft, or do you think the first pick will be linebacker? The thing about this draft class, though, is there's not that many good defensive linemen. Aziz, who I'm a big fan of, the edge rushing class is okay. Jalen Phillips is good. I'm very high on Jalen Phillips. Aziz Ojulari, I really, really like. Jason Owe, at his pro day apparently ran a 4.35 or something. But this defensive line class isn't great, and the Lions' defensive line I don't think is that bad, especially after the Michael Brockers trade. I think it's going to get much better. I think in the second round we could address edge. Get Aziz, get maybe a Jason, get maybe a Jalen Phillips. I would like that pick. And then, if Christian Barmore is there, if he somehow falls, then that's possible. I like Tommy Togiai out of Ohio State. I think he's pretty solid. But, the class just isn't really built to upgrade your trenches on the defensive side of the ball, unfortunately for the Lions. Looney Lance is the only quarterback in this draft that did at-line adjustments and called out the mic people just hate to hate. I'm not hating on Trey Lance. I just don't think I don't think he's the third best quarterback. But like you guys said, it's all the Niners have said they might want to take him. So I think it's possible as well. I just chose Fields because that's just where I have them ranked. But the 49ers might have the different rankings. So again, it doesn't matter the order that Trey Lance and Justin Fields go because I think they're very interchangeable. BYU didn't vote him a captain because of his attitude in the locker room. He's a senior QB and a good one, still not a captain. That tells you something. I mean, yes and no. Yes and no. My guess is round 2 will be linebacker or defensive back. I would agree with that. Good DT in the 3rd or 4th round this year. I think Togiai is a sleeper guy for day 2, early day 3 potentially. If we take Parsons, Smith, or Waddle, you guys won't see me on the Lions chat anymore. Well, hopefully that doesn't happen then. Watson will never play football again. I don't know. And I don't want to go in depth with this, but because obviously there's some truth to it. I have no doubt that there is some truth to it, but I don't know. We'll see how the whole thing plays out. But I hope Watson is able to come back. And I hope, obviously, if he did something wrong, then he deserves to be, he deserves whatever consequence comes if it did actually happen. But for his sake, I hope he does come back to play football at some point. I don't want Devontae Smith. I don't either. If Babyface Wilson is there, I'm taking him. Me too. If Waddle doesn't get hurt, there's no way Smith wins the Heisman. That's what I was saying. What's up? How's it going? Agreed. Smith too small. I agree. Washington football has traded 19th. Is that real? Did that actually happen? Hold on. Did that actually happen, or is that a hypothetical scenario? I don't see anything about that, but I don't know if that's hypothetical or if that happened, but I don't know, man. I don't know. One funky Lion fan says 29 teams were at Lance's Pro Day, and the Lions were one of them. The Lions were one of them. One per 40 says I'd wait 2023 for a quarterback. I would wait till next year. I'll take one in the 2022 class because I think that's a decent class as well. But 2023 is going to have some studs as well, I think. Skins beat reporter tweeted. Again, I haven't seen anything. So if something does come up, if it gets reported by a guy like Ian Rappaport or Tom Pelissero, then I will keep you updated and I'll keep an eye out for it for the rest of the stream. But I don't know. I don't know. I'll wait for it. I'll wait and I'll reload every couple of minutes to see if it comes up, but I have not seen anything official on it yet. Only way I want Parsons is if he just so happens to fall to the second, but I don't think he would fall that far. But I would not spend the 7th pick on Parsons either. That's just not something I think would be a smart decision. So I wouldn't do that either. I'm totally on board with you, Looney Tim. It would be all over Bleacher Report, and I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it either, but like I said, I'll keep an eye out for it. Grayson McCall 2023. I don't know who that is. I'm sorry. I think Atlanta will trade back with Carolina or Denver or New England or Washington, and the quarterback will be picked at 4. That's possible. It's very possible. I'm not going to say bad, or I'm not going to say it's true or false, but I definitely see that being possible. I think the Falcons could look to trade down, but I also think that if like the Lions, sometimes you just can't trade down. But I think there's a possibility that you could, and especially if they don't want a quarterback, then teams can look at that and say, well, why would I trade up to 4 to get my quarterback when I know Cincinnati's not taking one, when I know Miami's not taking one, and I could really trade up with, Detroit, who is like the first team after them to trade. Like if they don't want a quarterback, if the Falcons clearly don't want one of the top quarterbacks, then why would I trade up to 4 when I could trade up at 7 and get it for probably less value? Like that's a way to look at it too. That's just kind of my view on it. But I totally agree. I think they could definitely trade up and get one of those guys. He's basically Zach Wilson, who McCall. I'll check him out. What was his name? Grayson McCall. I'll look at him. I'll check him out. I just totally lost where I was. All right. Let's see. It's not obvious. Hello, good afternoon, young man. What's going on? How you doing? If Atlanta does not trade back and Lancer Field is on the board at 7, we will get great offers. I agree. I think that's the big thing is like we just need him to fall. We need one of them to fall. I want Zaven Collins in Detroit. I think you're going to have to trade down for Zaven Collins because I don't think he's a top 7 talent, but he's not going to be there in the second either. Looney Tunes says, I don't think the Devontae Smith will drop that far. I don't necessarily know if he'll drop that far, but my point more was that I think he is going to drop quite a ways because I genuinely don't see him going top 7. I don't see Carolina taking him. They already have 2 1,000-yard receivers. I don't see Denver taking him. They just drafted 2 wide receivers a season ago, and they have Cortland Sutton. I don't see the Cowboys. They have Amari. They have Gallup. They have their guys. I don't see New York. Philadelphia, I see them drafting a wide receiver, but I think Waddle's better. The Chargers, I don't think draft one. The Vikings, I don't think draft one. The Patriots, I think you can make the argument. I think you could. The Cardinals aren't drafting one. Again, the Raiders, I think, could. The Dolphins won't draft one, especially if they get their guy at 6. The football team won't draft one. The Bears probably won't draft one. So, I mean, I think the only 2 spots you see that before is if maybe Philadelphia values Smith over Waddle, maybe if the Patriots or potentially with the Raiders. But other than that, I don't see a lot of other teams picking him. He is trade up for McCall. I mean, again, I got to look into him. I want Nico Collins in Detroit. I would not mind Nico Collins later in the draft. I wouldn't mind it. I did a mock draft and had Zaven Collins fall to me in the second round. I don't see it happening in real life. I think Zaven Collins is too talented, but you never know, man. You never know. And if he's there in the second, we better take him. If he's there in the second and we pass on him, I'll be mad. I will be mad. Wanted Donovan Peoples-Jones last year. Yeah, I would not have been mad at that. Especially in like the 6th round. Like that was a pretty good value pick. I prefer Cox. Fair enough. Quintez Cephas pick. Why? I thought Quintez Cephas was pretty good last year. Let's see. I'm gonna have to look at him. I will too. If Atlanta don't want a QB, I can see the Lions trade up to 4th for a quarterback. I don't think they're going to trade up. I don't see that, especially for a quarterback, but I don't see them trading up for a quarterback personally. Let's see. Chase, Pitts, Waddle, and Bateman before Smith. Maybe not Bateman. But other than that, I would agree with that for sure. I haven't looked at him. I haven't looked at him like that, believe it or not. Lions should go get a safety in the second round. That's possible too. I think secondary help is definitely needed in this class, but I don't know if the second round is the best spot to address. Congrats on 1,000 subscribers. What scheme will we be running both offensive and defensively? It is too early to tell. Come back after the draft, after a majority of free agency. I think the Lions still have a lot of way to go. Their team is going to look incredibly different in a month and 2 months from now. So come back later when I know who's going to be on the team and I'll answer that question because I don't know right now. I don't know. With the way college went this year, there will be a lot of sleepers or a lot more sleepers than usual. I agree. I think that's pretty true. 2022 class is a ton of defensive linemen. Yeah, I think that's where the Lions are going to get to address their defensive line problems. And hopefully, if Flowers can stay healthy, if Romeo can continue the streak he was on to end the season, if Brockers can come in and do what Brockers did in LA, if Pennicini continues to play well, then I think the Lions will have an okay defensive line. Deshaun Hand can rotate in, and Austin Bryant can rotate around, and hopefully Julian Okwara gets ready to go. I think we're going to see some improvement next year from the Lions defensive line, but if they don't improve next year, then I think there's a lot of potential. There's a lot of opportunity to upgrade that next year in next year's draft. And I think next year's free agency is better for defensive linemen as well. Chances on the Lions making the playoffs this year, slim. Slim. I wouldn't say they're good. I think there's a possibility. I'd give it like a 15% chance. They're going to improve this year, I think, with better coaching, with better coordinators, with better mentality, a better culture in the locker room. I think they'll improve, and I think they'll go from 5 wins to 7 or 8, which with 7 teams making the playoffs could be enough to make it. They're definitely not going to win the division this year. I don't want to say definitely. They're likely not going to win the division this year. They, I think, have a chance at a wild card spot, but I think it's a very slim chance at that. A lot of great players going to fall in this draft. I think so. I agree with you there for sure. Bro, we need a wide receiver. If Jamar Chase falls to us, I would flip out. I'd be so – yeah, if Jamar Chase is there, I'm taking him. I'm not taking Devontae Smith at 7, though. I'm just not doing it. If we trade down with – hypothetically, if we trade down with, let's say the football team. Let's say the football team trades up, right? If Devontae Smith is there at 19, I'll take him. If we're anywhere past 10, if we're anywhere past the 10th pick, if we're anywhere in the teens and Devontae Smith is still there, like I think he will be, then I'll take him, but I'm definitely not taking him at 7. Jamar Chase is a different story, though. You could probably get Watson for conditional. I mean, maybe not that low, but you definitely his value is definitely decreased. Well, a bunch of laughing faces. I mean, it might not be true. It might not be false. Like he's definitely not getting multiple first rounders at this point. LMAO. Keep jumping in lives and staying that Washington trade. It's fake. Yeah. It would be everywhere. Like that would be all over the place. It wasn't real. I wasn't falling for it. Like I said, I was going to keep an eye out for it, but if it's not out by now, it didn't happen yet. Yep. It was real getting notifications from Bleacher Report. Yeah, exactly. Washington football trade is fake. It'd be yeah, exactly. What's up, Dre Barnes? How you doing? One mock draft got Lions taking QB in the 4th round, Kellen Mond. I wouldn't be mad at that. I think Kellen Mond has a couple he has a couple things going for him that could help him develop as a quarterback. It's possible. But get a quarterback in the 2023 when Goff's cap. Oh, I thought you said never mind. But get the quarterback in 2023. Yeah, fair enough. Are they done signing people? They're not. They have $25 million left. They got a lot of holes left to fill. They're not done signing people just yet. People are still trying to draft a quarterback. Oof. I mean, yeah. Yeah, I know a lot of people that want the Lions to still draft a quarterback, but especially with the restructuring now, that makes it harder for the Lions to get rid of Goff. So it's still possible they take a quarterback, but it makes it less likely now. The buzz is Lions are moving toward a one gap scheme. It's possible. I think it's possible. I think so. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think it's possible, but I don't have a lot of comment on that right now. I agree we wouldn't win more than 7 games at most. I think we win 7 to 8, but I don't see more than that. I don't see more than 8. No way too low on Smith, LOL. I don't see it. He's not even the second best receiver in this class, let alone a top 7 talent. So I don't see it. Oh, absolutely. That class might be better than this one. You're talking about 2023. 2021 offense, 2022 defense, 2023 quarterback. That could be the formula. That might work. I wouldn't be mad at that one. There will be a lot of wide receivers still there in rounds 2 to 3. I agree. I think there's going to be I think there will be a lot of wide receivers there at second and third round days 2, and even on day 3, I think there will be some steals at wide receiver. So that's why I don't think the Lions should take a wide receiver at 7 unless it's Jamar Chase, because Jamar Chase is simply different. Let's see. I'm going to finish this off as more comments start to come in because the comments are slowing down a little bit. At 22, the Tennessee Titans, I think, take Rashad Bateman. They're going to replace Corey Davis, and that's about it. Rashad Bateman is a very good wide receiver. I think they're going to replace what's his name? Corey Davis, who just left for the Jets. And coincidentally, the Jets are right here back on the board. The Jets, I think, are going to take an edge rusher. They had some pretty decent interior defensive line pressure. Their defensive tackles in Quinnen Williams and whoever the other guy were actually really good for them last season. I think sneaky good for them. And all they needed was that big-time edge rusher. So I think they get that here with Azeez Ojulari. With Pittsburgh on the board, they're losing quite a bit of talent. They are probably will regress a little bit. And to me, Pittsburgh always feels like that power run, that tough, like we're just going to grind you down. And that's kind of how they've been, or how they've tried to be in the last couple of years. They try to run the ball and play defense. And I don't know a single person in this class better to simply and purely run the rock than Najee Harris. Jacksonville, to pair with Trevor Lawrence, they might go get Travis Etienne, his former college teammate, go pair him with James Robinson, get that dynamic wide receiver duo with your Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence then has Jamal Agnew, has, Laviska Shenault, has Marvin Jones, has who's the other pretty good wide receiver? There's another one in there that's pretty good as well for wide receivers. Like, I think they pair him with another big offensive weapon and they go from there. The Browns honestly didn't have a lot of struggles last year, to be totally honest. I don't see a lot of value here for the Browns. Like Kwity Paye, like their edge rushers are already solid. Their offensive line was pretty solid. Again, edge rusher, offensive line. Their secondary, potentially, like Greg Newsome II, it's possible. Who's their cornerbacks? Denzel Ward and Greedy Williams. Like, I guess if you wanted to get a cornerback, you could. Safety, I don't see safety. They got John Johnson and Grant Delpit back there, so they could maybe do that. I think maybe wide receiver, Kadarius Toney. Because they got Odell, I think Kadarius Toney is a good option here. Who else? Just curious at wide receivers at this point. Maybe Terrence Marshall. I don't know. All right, comments are coming back in. Holmes is just signing all the wide receivers that run in the sub 4.4 so Campbell can go all streaks. Hey, I mean, fair enough. Devontae Smith is the Barry Sanders of receivers. Well, the only problem is Barry Sanders is a running back, and you don't need to be tall to be a running back. You need to be tall to be a wide receiver. Lions want to build the team first before taking the quarterback. I think that's how it's going to work. The restructuring of Goff makes it easier to move in because the Lions eat more future cap, so it'd be cheaper for the team taking him. But he's going to be worth more cap later. Like, we're going to add $5 million to his cap every single year. So next year, I don't know what it would be, but now we're adding $5 more million on. That's going to add to dead cap as well. So it's actually going to be harder to move on from Goff in the future because of his restructuring now. Not impossible, but tougher. Aren't we eating like 30 million in dead cap? Yeah, we are. We have a lot of dead cap. Waddle's better than Smith. Facts. Yes, but that dead cap does not transfer to whenever the team takes Goff in a trade. I didn't know that, actually. I did not know that. Okay, so that's what – okay, I got it now. I didn't know that was the case. I didn't know that we don't eat that kind of cap when we're trading him away, but I don't know. I didn't know that, but that's good to know. He is not enough get up and catch radius. He's got enough. I mean, enough, but not enough for the 7th overall pick. In 3 years, we would eat $10 million, 10 plus a rookie deal is less than $20 million. It's fair. Really, so QB still on the table? I think it's possible, but I think it's very unlikely. Rumors, San Fran wants to take Mack Jones. If Mack Jones goes at 3, I will die. If Mack Jones goes at 3, I will die of laughter. I would laugh so hard. Like I could, oh my God. That would be unreal. I would cry, bro, if that happened. How do signing bonuses work? Do they count? I think they do. So the way I understand it is when you get your signing bonus, it's evenly spread across your contract. So if you sign like a 4-year contract and say you get 20 million in signing bonus, then that signing bonus is spread out across your 5 years. So you'll get 5 the first year, 5 the next year, 5 after that, 5 after that. That's how I understand it. That may be entirely false. That may not be how it works, but that's how his restructuring worked, and that's how I understand it. QB is still very much on the table. I agree. Y'all going strong without me. It's good to have you, though. It's better to have you here. Hey, we got 48 people in the chat. I don't know what our likes are at right now, people, but if you've not done so already, please hit that like button. Please hit that like. And for whatever reason, if you're here and you have not subscribed to the Right or Wrong YouTube channel, can you do that? Take that 2 seconds. Go down, scroll below the video right now, and just go click that red subscribe button. If it's red, you're not subscribed. And that's not good. That's not okay. So if you could do that, that'd be awesome. Would be amazing if Chase falls to us. Chase would be a really good player. If he falls to us, I would be incredibly happy with that. He's one of the best receivers to ever play so far. I would assume you're talking about Jamar Chase. I would agree. I think he's the best wide receiver to come out in a very long time. Maybe not Megatron-esque, maybe not Randy Moss-esque, but he's special. He's going to be special in the NFL. That's interesting, but all the QBs will be gone. I don't think so. I think there will be one QB unless somebody trades up in ahead of us. I think there will be one quarterback left on the board. People sleep on Jones so hard it's funny. If it's 1985, he would be talked about as the first overall pick. Yeah, but it's not. And yeah, people are probably sleeping on Jones, and yeah, I'm probably sleeping on Mack Jones a little bit, but there's no way he's the 3rd best player in this class. Like. Also, in 1985, they attempted like 1 pass a game. So, well, no, that's not true. In 1985, they did not need the same amount, and they did not need the same play out of their quarterback that they need now for NFL teams. Signing bonuses do not count against the cap. Okay, so there's your answer. Ryder, quit being cheap and pass out some riches. No, I was referring to Smith actually. Oh, well, then I disagree. If we take a QB, then he better be mobile. That's very true. That is super, super true. If we take a quarterback, he has got to be mobile. He's got to be able to move and make some things out of the pocket. So, yeah, let me get a wrench fan. I like both Smith. I like both, but Smith more. I don't like Devontae Smith. I think he's the 3rd best wide receiver in the class. Chase only falls to us if Miami doesn't take him. Yeah, I think that's very true. I think Looney Tunes should get the first wrench. Will you explain the title and name origin of Right or Wrong? So I don't really got a huge story. When I started fantasy football, I started fantasy football a couple years ago, and that was just the name so my uncle had the team first, and he just decided he didn't want to be in the league anymore. So he gave me the thing, and the name he had was just Right or Wrong, and I kind of liked it because my last name is Writer, and I thought it was kind of a funny play on words, and I liked it, and that's my fantasy name. That's what it's been. And when I started the YouTube channel, I just really liked that name. I thought it was kind of funny, kind of a play on words off my name. And of course, what I do on this channel is I make a lot of predictions, so I'm either right or I am wrong. So I thought it was a funny play on words. There's not really like some big grand story behind it. That's just kind of the name that happened. That's kind of how I got there. Tokyo, they are taking on Pitts. Deserves riches. If signing bonus does not count against the cap, then why not pay every player with signing bonuses? I don't know. That's a good question. Mack Jones played on the Alabama team. That's probably the closest thing to an NFL team in college football. The talent around him made him better. I would agree with that. Of course, playing on the best college football team in the world, in the country, is going to make you look a bit better. Now, I really don't like doing this, and this is not disrespect, and this is not how I grade talent, but Alabama quarterbacks do not generally do well. Like Tua was hyped up to be this like next great guy, like this next great quarterback, this next all pro guy, like tank for Tua since he was a freshman. Like it's just, and he didn't really pan out. So I think the Bama system makes quarterbacks look a bit better than they actually are. But at the same time, that doesn't mean anything for Mack Jones. Just like it doesn't mean anything for Justin Fields, right? Ohio State does not have a great history of quarterbacks, and just because that's true doesn't predetermine Justin Fields' his success in the NFL. That's my observation about Bama quarterbacks, but that doesn't mean anything for Mack Jones and his success in the NFL. So that's just something to think about as well. What does guarantees? I don't know how all the contract situation works. I think Miami wants Waddle or Smith for Tua. That could be just with that that connection, of course, that would make a lot of sense as well. But again, I'll take Waddle over Smith because you can't convert the whole contract against the cap. You have to a certain percentage. Okay, so there you go. There's your answer from earlier. Mack Jones needs everything to be great. He's a target, traditional pocket passer. He's not mobile. That's kind of my big knock against him, is he's just not all that mobile. But he's not a bad quarterback, but I don't think he has the athletic upside or athletic prowess that some of these other guys have. Don, I feel disrespectful. I'm sorry, or disrespected. You still have to pay either player in base salary. That's yeah, fair enough. Lucci's Field Review is still here. Get those likes up, people, and tell a friend to tell a friend. Hey, we can get those likes up, people. That'd be awesome. Why not right or right? Because I'm not right or right. Sometimes I'm wrong. Sometimes I am incorrect. And I think the favorite comment I've ever gotten was from Dr. Detroit, where he commented on one of my videos, and he disagreed with whatever I was talking about. He goes, "You're more wrong than righter on this one." And that I thought was funny. That made me laugh. That made me chuckle. And because I'm not always right. And I know that. I know I got some room to grow. I got some room to learn. And sometimes I'm incorrect, but more times I'm right than I'm wrong. But sometimes I'm right and wrong. Right or wrong. Mack Jones is low because he's not mobile. I think that's the biggest fault against him. I got Looney Tunes. Let's see. But if you watched Tua, you knew what he was. I agree. That's true. That's very, very true. One pride, one down. Brr. What percentage I don't know contracts in depth very well, how all that works. Mack has a lot of potential. I think he has some potential, but I think his potential is a little lower than some of the other guys because he can't quite escape the way like Lance and Fields and Wilson and Lawrence can. Ryder, was Holmes and Campbell done anything you dislike so far? Anything I dislike? Not really. I'm trying to go through their moves. Like the Matt Stafford trade was incredible. The Matt Stafford trade, that was their first big move. I was a big fan of that. Then the Michael Brockers trade. I wasn't a big fan of the Michael Brockers trade until I saw what we were giving up. And I can't really complain about a 2023 7th. You have Like, there's not a single free agent that I've been like, man, I can't believe we signed him. Like, that is a bad deal. Like the Big V deal was a year ago. There's nothing from that standpoint. There's not really been a coaching hire that I'm like, man, I can't believe we hired that guy. Like, this guy was so much better on the board. Now, of course, that can all change with the one free agent signing. Of course, that can all change with one draft selection. But so far, there's not been a single thing that I can point to and be like, man, I really hate, I really dislike, I really disapprove of this move by the Lions. I think this is severely gonna hurt the Lions. Now, if they give out like some stupid contract or something, that I could disagree. But so far, I think they've only taken this team in the right direction, especially with the cap situation. I mean, we were literally in negative cap, and now I think we're top 5, and I know we're at least in the top 10 in cap space available right now. So, I mean, Brad Holmes is a damn wizard, bro. Brad Holmes is incredible. Neither is Brady. I don't know what that means. Your kneecaps are tasty, bro. Hey, I'm not down for biting kneecaps. Like, nobody be coming at me. Like, if I see me at a Lions game, y'all better not be biting my kneecaps, all right? That is not happening. That is not happening. Mack Jones will fool a lot of people. I think he'll be better than a lot of people think, but I don't think he's going to be like I think he's going to be a solid starter for a couple of years. I think he'll be a solid starter, and in the right system, he can be pretty solid. There are good videos on YouTube about the cap rules. Yeah, I just haven't watched them yet. Luke, please explain the signing bonuses doesn't count against the cap. That's for Luke to go do. I don't see why people keep complaining about Devontae Smith's size. It's not necessarily his size. I just don't think he's the second best wide receiver. I think he's the third best receiver. And in my mock draft, I only have 3. Yeah, which seems like a really low amount, which means a lot of good wide receivers will fall. But in my mock draft so far, or this like little mock we got going, like I only see 3 wide receivers going in the first up till pick 25. So, there's always that. Like, not necessarily that he's a bad player or that he's undersized, just that I think he's the third best wide receiver in the class. Mack Jones' only fault is his mobility. He'd be perfect in New England. That's probably true. That could be an interesting show. Just search for videos explaining NFL contracts. I will. I just haven't done it yet. Can you see Parsons playing middle linebacker for us? Yes, but he needs to be like, to say middle linebacker is kind of old traditional. Like, I can see a prominent role for him at our linebacking core. Now, whether that's an off-ball linebacker, a pass rusher, whether it be a 3-4 linebacker, a 4-3 linebacker, all that is up for debate and, to be talked about. But I could definitely see Parsons playing linebacker for us, yes. Mack Jones needs to get drafted by a already good team to be great. Justin Herbert was great last year because he got drafted by an already stacked team. I mean, you say that, but at the same time, he was picked at number 5 for a reason. Like, it wasn't like he got picked by a team in the 20s. It's not like he got picked by the Packers and that team was already really, really good. Like, I think Justin Fields elevated that team way more than that team elevated Justin Herbert. Why do you want a mobile quarterback? History time and time again tells us mobile quarterbacks rarely win Super Bowls outside of Wilson's youth. Wilson's a young JOA. Mobile quarterbacks may excite but rarely win. But mobile quarterback it's a relative term because Patrick Mahomes could be considered a mobile quarterback. He gets out of the pocket a lot and makes plays outside the pocket. Lamar Jackson is an MVP. He took his team to the playoffs, and although he hasn't won a Super Bowl, his team wins a lot of games, and a lot of it has to do with his mobility. You look at Aaron Rodgers could be considered a mobile quarterback. He makes a lot of plays out of the pocket. Mobile quarterback doesn't necessarily mean that a mobile quarterback doesn't necessarily mean that you're rushing for 100 yards a game. A mobile quarterback more so means a guy that can get out of the pocket and make you plays outside the pocket versus having to stay in the pocket the whole time and really being dictated by what his offensive line can protect him as. So for me, it adds a new dynamic. It adds a more dangerous element to the game. And, you can definitely win without a mobile quarterback. Tom Brady is the poster child for that. But you look at, Patrick Mahomes. He's a relatively mobile quarterback. Before that, you have Like you said, Russell Wilson won a quarterback. You have Cam Newton, who took his team to a Super Bowl. You have, mobile quarterbacks win. Mobile quarterbacks do win football games. Like, mobile quarterback doesn't necessarily mean, like I said, it doesn't mean rushing for 100 yards. It doesn't mean going past the line of scrimmage necessarily. Mobile quarterback more means that they get out of the pocket and they can make plays out of the pocket. And that's why, and again, adds a new, different element to the game that just really helps your offense be more dynamic. We're going to spend mad money next year. I think so. I think up to 60%, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that. LOL. I love every move we've made so far this year. I'm a big fan of it. Okay, I'm not going to get into that. Because it's a new trend for the mobile quarterbacks. Like, I don't think people are doing it just because it's a trend. I think it genuinely does help their teams be more successful. Jack, I noticed all these broke teams went the bonuses route. A lot of ways to game the system. That's true. That's very, very true. We spending too much on Brockers, though. Brockers benefited from playing next to the best offensive player. Yeah, I think we're overpaying a little bit, but I don't we still have $25 million in cap. We still have a lot of cap space left, so I'm not too concerned about it. If we were super tight on cap, then I would be a little bit more fearful of it, but we have a lot of cap space. We have a lot of money left, so I'm not stressing about it too much. John Elway, mobile quarterback, what? I mean, John Elway got out of the pocket a bit, obviously way before my time, but from what I've seen, he not mobile, but good enough. Parsons would be best fit as a 3-4 outside linebacker. Yeah, I'd agree. But when you convert base salary into signing bonus, it's just for relief that year. Yeah. 8.5 for 30-year rotational is a tad expensive. Yeah, no, I agree with that. I agree 100%. I think it is a little expensive. But like I said, if we were a little tight on cash, we were a little tight on money, I would be a little bit more cautious of it, but we're not. We had a lot of cash. We got a lot of money, and it's only going to go up next year, and it's only going to go up from years on because, as things get back to normal, the cap space is going to increase over and over and over again. It's only going to get bigger. We're only going to get more money. So if we had less space, if we had less cap space, I'd be more concerned about it. But because we have a lot of it, I'm not super concerned. Oh, okay. Well, obviously people complain about it, but there's receivers like Marquise Brown, Isaiah McKenzie, Cole Beasley, Taylor Gabriel that are undersized. Yeah, that's true. That's very true. I'm not saying that Smith can't be good, and I'm not saying Smith won't be good in the NFL. I just don't necessarily see him as a top 2 wide receiver in this class. Exactly. A mobile quarterback doesn't mean run first like Lamar Jackson. Exactly. I just want a quarterback that can move outside the pocket. You don't need a quarterback to run the ball 24/7. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was trying to get across. Running quarterback, mobile quarterback doesn't mean 15, 20 rushing attempts. It means you get outside the pocket, you make plays where Mack Jones couldn't. Mobile quarterback means you're going to move out of the pocket. You're going to escape from the pass rush to make a play down the field, whereas, Tom Brady can't do that. Tom Brady's not a mobile quarterback because he can't do that, but Aaron Rodgers can make those plays. Aaron Rodgers can get outside the pocket, and that's why I would consider him a mobile quarterback because he can move enough to get out and make plays. If Justin Fields or Trey Lance falls to us, should we take them? I would say no. I'm not a big fan of not that I'm not a big fan of the quarterback prospects. I just don't think the Lions should take a quarterback this year. I think they can wait a season. They got to see what they have in Goff before they put that, that deadline behind him, before they put that threat behind him. I think they got to see what they have in the quarterback first, because personally, I don't see the Lions falling. I don't see them getting to a top 7 pick again next year. And, you can't waste that pick on a quarterback not knowing what you have in Jared Goff. So I don't think they do that this year. I think they take a quarterback next year if Goff doesn't play up to par. Any quarterback that isn't fair enough. Yeah, but Tom Brady is not a mobile quarterback. Peyton Manning was not a mobile quarterback. Who else? Kirk Cousins, I wouldn't say is a mobile quarterback. Matthew Stafford, he can run. Matthew Stafford can get out of the pocket and make plays, but I guess technically that makes him a mobile quarterback. Who else though? Big Ben, I wouldn't consider mobile at this point. But yeah, if Fields or Lance falls, I think I already answered that. Oh, it was the same question. I just literally, well, that's kind of crazy. Why'd you pick up Alden Smith for a cheap 1 year? I wouldn't be mad at that. Would not be mad at that at all. Joe, you realize the cap will go up. Yeah, it will. Next year it should go up unless something really bad happens. Elway didn't win his Super Bowl until he was old AF, though. He was sort of mobile when he was young, but he was slow as Tom Brady when he was fine. Fair enough. But that wasn't really the point I was trying to make, but I guess Brock's contract does not count against the complimentary pick formula because he was traded. Yeah, I think that's true. They converted $3 million of Brockers $8.5 million into a signing bonus, so his base salary is around $5.5 million. Prediction on the Lions record in 2021, I think they're going to go 7-10. I think they're going to go 7-10 or 8-9. That's my prediction, is somewhere in that range. Yes, I'm aware of that, but that doesn't mean Brockers is worth 8.5. I see Warriors contracts. Have you seen? Yeah, yes, I have. Have you seen Big V's contract? Love the channel, right or wrong. I appreciate it. We could get 3 to 4 complimentary picks next year because of the smart, cheap signings. Yeah, I think, yeah. Brad Holmes is just doing some absolute work, bro. He's going to work. He's a wizard. I love Brad Holmes so much. He's I don't want to say the best GM we've ever had, but he's wow. Is this what it's like to have a competent general manager? That's wild. Bob Quinn thinks we need to draft Purdue's. I mean, it wouldn't shock me. Just because there are worse contracts than Brockers' contract doesn't mean Brockers is a good contract. No, it doesn't mean it. But like I said earlier, we have enough cap space to combat that without it being too detrimental. A lot of people overthink the word mobile quarterback. It's not always good if your quarterback is running for his life. No, it's not. It's not. You can't win with just a mobile quarterback. But like I said, a mobile quarterback opens up a new dimension to the game. I want to draft a wide receiver. We don't have a true number 1 wide receiver. Yeah, but you don't necessarily need a true number 1 wide receiver, like a prototypical X, like AJ Green, DeAndre Hopkins, Devontae Adams. You don't necessarily need one of those top wide receivers to be successful in the NFL. So, Trey Flowers' base salary is the highest on the team. Jeff Okudah has the 4th highest contract base salary guys on the roster. Yeah, but that's what's going to happen with first-round picks, especially the 3rd overall pick. You're going to give them a lot of money because that's just how it works. Joey, all I'm saying is I've seen worse contracts. That's true. Very true. I don't get caught up in the hype of a quarterback throwing at his pro day, but that throw from Wilson made rolling to his left while hitting a wide. Yeah, that was an impressive throw. I don't put a ton of stock into pro days because it's obviously very scripted. And if you don't look good at your pro day, then something is very, very wrong. But for a pro day, that was an impressive throw. That was an incredible throw. Agreed, but that's besides the point. My floor is next year 4-12. My ceiling is 8-8. I know there's supposed to be 17 games, but that sounds weird. So I'm accusing 16. Fair enough. The Lions actually just announced their 17th game. They're going to be playing Denver. So that should be hopefully a win. If you're really slow, but a QB, but live in a mobile home, does that make you a mobile quarterback? I heard Bob Quinn is hired as an Uber driver. Honestly, Bob Quinn as an Uber driver, you'd be like, yeah, take me down the street. My man would take like 13 different left turns and he'd like go backwards and he'd be like, nah, trust me, I know what I'm doing. I'm giving you the best experience of an Uber drive. And then he'd somehow get lost. Like that's how I imagine Bob Quinn being an Uber driver would go. I don't talk great about, or you don't talk about the great Bob Quinn. I had a little dyslexia there. Any chance we can win the division? There's always a chance. The new TV deal is huge. By 2025, the cap is expected to be $250 million. That, yeah, should be fun. I'm just saying, I'm seeing way worse. Shut up. Okay. We need a well-balanced team with a decent defense starting out, then build from there. So I like what management is doing, but we have to wait and see. I agree 100%. The Lions have a chance to draft Sewell at 7. Is that the pick you're making? That is the pick I am making. Pro days is overrated. Anybody want to throw football without pads? Yeah, but I mean, even in a scripted environment, that throw from Zach Wilson was we'll just say it was not an easy throw. 1,000 yards rushing for Swift, it's possible. I think if he's used correctly, I think it's possible. I see it happening. QB are way more likely to be injured in the pocket than outside the pocket. Mobile QBs equal injury prone is a myth. I agree. But pass first mobile quarterbacks, I feel safe with. Yeah. Trent Green was not a mobile guy, and he got ruined outside the pocket because he was slow, apparently. Lol, I remember Michael Vick said he would go back to his younger self and would say stay in the pocket more. That's, I mean, maybe like, yeah, Michael Vick was kind of an extra, like Michael Vick was all over. Well, apparently I'm in the chat somewhere. That's slightly concerning. Bob Quinn would be the only person ever to never drive a car and be hired as an Uber driver. Apparently I'm in the chat. I did not comment that. That's a little concerning. Not impossible. Is that true? I did not put that out. I don't know who put that out. And I don't know if that's either somebody made a fake account that looks very similarly to mine, or I was just hacked, which would suck. So, I mean, I guess we'll go check real quick. I'm going to hide this screen just because I don't think you guys need to see some of that, but that's a little concerning. I'm not going to lie. Both figured out. Okay, so he says not hacked. Well, that's good. Yeah, it scared me for just a moment. Like, I'm not going to lie. You scared me for just a teeny moment, but that's okay. All right, let's get back to no Trent got teed off, took nasty hits to the head. All right, yo, we're at 1,009. Hold up, 9 people subscribed already today. That's something. That is something. I appreciate that. That's dope. All right. Anyway, well, now we can go back. Bob Quinn hacked me. Bro, the whole like right or wrong thing threw me off because I was like, somebody must have got into my account or somebody's just pretty solid with it. But yeah. Wow, people have way too much time on their hands. I guess you know you made it when somebody feels the need to make a similar account, right? You got a copycat. Hey, Bob Quinn heard what I said and was like, yo, we can't have this no more. He's like, we can't have right or wrong talking bad about my Uber driving skills. That's funny. Hacking is wrong. I agree. Someone did that to Micro Mike too. That's funny. That's intriguing. Who else? Let's see. Bob Quinn, say hello to my little friend. That's funny, man. That's funny. Bob Quinn. I can't talk bad about Bob Quinn's Uber driving skills or Bob Quinn's going to get me, bro. Now I'm kind of scared. I like get a knock on my door and he's just like, yo, I heard you talking about my Uber driving skills. Somebody's at my door right now and it's just going crazy. Bro, what's the rest of this mock draft about to look like? I should do one of these. I should do like a full in-depth mock draft. Would you guys be down for that? Would you guys be down for like a live stream where we just take a look at like we just go in depth for a full mock draft? So we can still talk Lions kind of like this, but it's more focused around like a 2 or 3 round mock draft. That'd be fun. That'd be awesome. Or maybe just as a video, we'll do that. Probably the great rocket scientist. Oh, Matt Patricia. He was like, I hear you talking about our Quinn Tricia regime. Him and Bob Quinn, like they're back in New England and they got Bill Belichick to come up and like hack me and like that'd be wild, bro. That'd be wild. The fake guy. Is that John B guy? It might be. That's possible. Who? Yeah, full mock draft would be cool. Do a mock draft and just control Detroit to make it more realistic. I can do that right now, actually. Like, we could go through a full mock draft right now. We got time. So we'll go Detroit. And this is usually how I do things, like for videos and stuff. And then we'll go normal. We'll click X on that. And we'll start the draft. We could totally go through a mock draft. So Lawrence at 1, Fields at 2, Wilson at 3, Lance at 4, Sewell at 5, Devontae Smith at 6. All right, so here's our trade offers. So we got pick 7 and pick 153 for 22, 55, 85, and a Tennessee second. Or we have 7 for 16, 49, and Arizona second. Let me know what you guys think we want to do. As one part 40 says, breaking news, Bob Quinn is the new Chicago Bears manager. Hold up. I doubt that's true, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Bears manager actually did get fired, because that'd be funny. Better go Chase. Don't trade back. Is the only guy who keeps showing up saying Washington football moved up. All right, well, y'all clearly want Jamar Chase, so that's who we're gonna go pick. We're gonna go get Jamar Chase, 7th overall. Add a big time wide receiver. Add the true number 1, the big time talented wide receiver out of the University of Louisiana Southern. I like that. That's a good pick. I like that a lot. All fun and games till that guy with the same name and logo starts going around leaving off the wall comments and people thinking it's you doing it. You might need to get verified, right? I'll look into that. I'll try it. What's going on? Like Pitts at 20, Pitts at 27. Jeez. That's a fall way for Pitts to fall. Kadarius Toney is the most Chiefs pick I've ever seen. Wyatt Davis is a good pick. Baron Browning's interesting. Najee, Bashman, Nick Bolton. That's a guy I was looking. Liam Eichenberg. 41 for that makes too much sense, no? That makes too much sense, I would think. Lateral move for Chicago. Is that real? Did that actually happen? Is so mad that he's in Cuba trying to buy an old nuclear stockpile to plant everything. On Pride, why? Because they signed our cast-offs. Bob Quinn in Cuba with Tupac. Oh, that's funny. I feel like this is too good of a pick not to trade down, no? We move down one spot and get a 2022 third rounder. I feel like that makes too much sense. So I'm going to do that. I don't even need to wait, bro. It literally took I'll reject that one. I'm not we'll let you guys decide. All right, so what are we thinking? That was a solid Pittsburgh trade, I know. So now we got another trade down potential. Detroit's 42 and 153 for 64. So we moved down a bit. We'd also get an extra second next year as well. We thinking take that? Are you thinking take the Buccaneers trade? I'll let everybody else get a little bit of commenting in. It's Joke Funk. Man, don't take Tampa Bay. Nah. Not thinking here. I can always click off and just see who's on the board. So 64, I'm moving on a lot. That'd be the very end of the second round. We thinking don't take it? All right, we're not taking it. Instead, all right, so who we got? We got Mack Jones on the board. I like Jalen Phillips a lot. I like Jalen Phillips quite a bit. Let's see if we just go defense. I'm not a big fan of Wallace. Richie Grant is possible. Kadarius Toney is a hilarious phony. Fair enough. Tevin Jenkins, Richie Grant. Who's Tevin Jenkins? Oh, the OT at Oklahoma State. Yeah, that could be. That could be. Take Tevin Jenkins, or I don't know, man. I'll take Tevin Jenkins because I think does he play? Oh, well. Does he play? I'm trying to see if he's a right tackle or a left tackle. Not that it matters, I guess. What are his negatives? Could do a better job sinking on the line of scrimmage. Is not processed. That's fine. We'll take him. What? I don't know. My big right now, my thought process is between either Tevin Jenkins or Jalen Phillips, because I like Jalen Phillips, man. I think Jalen Phillips is going to be really, really good. Jalen Phillips would be a great pick at the second round. Mack Jones, then trade him. You can't trade players in this, unfortunately. Only problem with Phillips is the fact that he had a few concussions. That's true, but I've heard that a couple times, and I've also heard the response that any given player can get hurt on any given play. Like, anybody can get hurt on any play. Anybody can get hit in the head. Anybody can get a concussion on any snap of a football. So that doesn't it concerns me, but it's not enough where I'm like, I can't take him. But I think if we're going to be the Lions here and we're just going to finish off the offense, right? We passed on Rashawn Slater earlier in the draft, and I think the best pick would be Jenkins. I think that would be the best move for the Lions. Get an offensive tackle, put him at right tackle, fill out that offensive line. There you go. Let's see. Jalen Phillips is a top 10 player if he didn't have the concussions. That's true. But I think we're going to fill out the offensive side of the ball first because now we got our quarterback, our running backs. We really only need a guard, and we're set on the offense for a long time. So I felt Tevin Jenkins was the best pick at the point. Jalen Phillips is the other guy, though, that I was really, really considering. I would agree. I ran a 157 at Penn State's pro day. Take that, Micah Parsons. Hey, you know what's crazy, though? So I actually ran a 156 at Penn State's pro day, which is crazy. Jenkins played both sides of the ball. So played both sides. He also plays angry. Dude ran OC completely. Yeah, fair enough. Glad there's no clock. LOL. Yeah, yep, me too. We draft Javid Best, and prior concussions came back to haunt us. Snow Phillips. I mean, like I said, they're all very different situations. Every situation is differently with injured players. Oh, I didn't even see this Browns pick. We'll come back to it in a second as I read the comments. I like Jenkins. Breaking news, Bobby Quinn is going to Houston. That might be an upgrade for Houston, funnily enough. Phillips is the only DN in this class that has multiple pass rush moves. That's true. And that's why I was considering him in the second round, but I don't know. So we got this trade or this. Okay, I'm definitely not taking that Denver trade. I'm not trading down to 114. That's a long way to go, even for an extra third. Let's see. Only concussion is not concussion hit. One concussion. Every player has had a concussion. Yeah, but Phillips had 3 concussions at UCLA and then was forced to retire because of it. And he didn't retire because he didn't want to play. He retired because that's just the policy they have at UCLA. But he's had more than 1 concussion. We thinking take the Browns trade? I'll let a couple people get back in, and I'll let a couple people comment. We thinking take that Browns trade or nah? Because I'm kind of liking it. I'm kind of liking the Browns trade. Steve-O, he's my favorite defensive end, but the concussion concern are real. One more. All the trade down. Well, let's get all of the picks. There's not really anybody that crazy on the board. What do we trade down to? We trade down to we trade down the mid-80s. That's not that bad. Rashad Weaver's off the board. That's a guy I was looking. Dwayne Eskridge is gone. Oh, no. What did I do? Amari Rodgers went 1 pick before us. That's so sad. I'll come back if we need. Who else is on the board? Nico Collins is here at 90. That's potential. Who else? Is Elijah Moore on the board? No. Where did Elijah go? If I can spell. All right. We'll take Jobin Davis at 71. I already traded down. That's unfortunate. Is he still there? He might be. Oh, no, he's not. Is he even on the board? I don't think he was. I think he was taken in the second. That's unfortunate. Let's see. What else? What are we thinking, boys? Nico? We thinking Nico Collins? Linebackers they're a little depleted. What is the trade? 93. I don't know. Dude, so we're just gonna ignore our offense draft linebackers. I mean, there's not really a good linebacker on the board now. Like I said, I was just gonna complete the offense first. Let's see. There's not really any great defensive talent here. I might have goofed this draft a little bit. That's not exactly true about the concussions. I'd rather have Tamarion Terry than Nico. The Browns took Jamin at 71. Did they really? They took him at 72. What are we thinking? I don't know. Patrick Jones is not bad. Quincy Roche is interesting. Tyler Shevin isn't bad. No, he's not. What are we thinking? We thinking Nico Cal. Well, we kind of got a wide receiver already. I don't know about Nico then. Low key, Quincy Roche is not bad. That's funny that Miami has 3 pass rushers looking to go. Tough, intense defensive front 7 player who is effective in all facets of the game. Fluid moving, laterally shows technique, getting off blocks, and nice, like low key, not sounding bad. Comes in under poor size and speed, struggles to get off blockers. I mean, I don't know. We need a safety. We need a slot cornerback. All right, is that what we're thinking? Go to the linebackers. All right, I got linebackers going. There's not really a whole lot here for linebackers right now. Take Patrick Jones. All right, give me a minute. Hold up. For secondary, not really a whole lot, or for corners at least. Darius Washington's interesting. Andre Cisco. Everybody knows I love myself some Andre Cisco. Is Jordan Smith from UAB still there? I don't know. Let's see. Smith. What at all? Who's it? Jordan? I don't see him. Ches Schwartz kid with you. Let's see. SURR8. But would he be available? I feel like he'd be available at 101, no? Let's see. Might be a little out of reach, but Cisco or Schwartz would be my choice. Who went in the first? We'll go back. When we're done, we'll go back to the first round. I don't know, man. What are we thinking? I see a lot of Cisco's. Who's this? A Devo guy? Hold up. Both in a Devo. I feel like he might be there later though. So what's the move? We thinking? Well, yeah, Chase was my first pick, but I don't know every first round. Yeah, but we already got a wide receiver, and I kind of want to address the defense as my thing. And so I was thinking either Andre or Darius or let's kid up top, Patrick Jones. What are we thinking? Out of those 3, what are we thinking? Jones, Cisco, or Darius Washington? What are we thinking? Who's the best safety left? I think it's Darius Washington and then Andre Cisco. It's like one of those 2. That's what I'm thinking between one of those 2. I think it's Cisco. I'm seeing a lot of Ciscos. All right, we'll go with Andre Cisco here. I'll go Andre. All right. Davis Mills. Nico Collins went at 97. Diami Brown, 98. Tyler Shevin. I don't want to move down that far. I like Tyree Gillespie. Was Tyree there? Did I miss my man Tyree? Oh, I did. I missed Tyree Gillespie. Yeah, I like him too. I like him a lot. Let's see. Quincy Roche still on the board. Bobby Brown. Who was the one kid somebody was talking about? Chaz Schwartz. Andre Drummond signed with the Lakers. Good. Cool. Let's see. What are we thinking? So I'll go to all really quickly. That Quincy Roche on the board. We have a guard. We could take a guard and fill out the rest of that O-line. Try and cook and listen, Steve-O. What's up, bro? What are you making, Don Bird? What are you making in the kitchen cooking up? What are we thinking? I love Gillespie. Dude's my favorite safety. We thinking Schwartz. I kind of like him. Underrated linebacker with a 3 down game. Breaks down well. That's good. What's his negatives? Not a bigger stout linebacker, easily stealed from the action and gets out positioned by blockers. More of a drag down tackler. I'm okay with that. I'm thinking Chaz. Schwartz. I like that. I like that. All right. I'm a big fan of that one. We moved down to 110. Our Darius Washington just went off the board. Let's see. Is the Georgia kid still there? Ben Cleveland? I like him. I don't think he is. Just thinking. Got some 3 chill going nicer. Is it Surratt? I didn't know that. I very butchered his name. That's my fault. Surratt. We got Surratt with the last pickup. What else is left? Like, I don't know. Marvin Wilson's interesting, but not now. Linebacker, cornerback. I saw somebody say take him earlier. Look at the DTs. All right. We got Bobby Brown from A&M. Some of these guys. Like Marvin Wilson's interesting, but we could definitely get him with 2 picks later. I don't think it's a rebuild. I don't think it's a rebuild either, to be honest. All right, what do we think? So those are the DTs. There's not really anything like that crazy. Who's the kid from Florida State? This kid, Wilson? Wilson's solid. I mean, he's an interior defensive lineman from Florida State. He was pretty solid 2 years ago. Last year he wasn't great, but he was okay. I'm hooking up $5,000 system to my steal of the year. Marvin Wilson, a beast. You could just take a DT anyway. That's true. But we do pick at 112. So if we're going to go Wilson, I'd rather take him there because I'm sure he's going to be there in 2 picks. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure he'll be there in 2 picks. And just looking at some of those guys, like, what's Deontay Brown? I'm just curious. Massive wide-bodied blocker who is only effective in a small area. Starts with good knee bends, stays square, and shows strength. Explosive at the point, fires into blocks. That sounds solid, low-key. Lumbers around the field and effective blocking in motion, not quite out of the second level and cannot put across the line of scrimmage, struggles adjusting and redirecting. I mean, fair enough. You should take we just took a safety though. You know what I mean? The D end out of Florida State. There's a D end out of Florida State. Who to edge? I don't see anybody. I don't see an edge out of Florida State. Who do you think they're gonna go for in the draft? It depends who's there. It really does. Draft Brown, then Wilson. All right, I like that. I think because Brown is like I said, he's a pretty powerful big blocker at the guard. Like that could give us 5 strong across the offensive line, which would be good. And then what about this one? This is 3 picks. This could be interesting. Let's see. Oh, I don't know what all those picks so far. Brown, only good in power blocking scheme. He would be lost in his own scheme. I mean, and just like I'm just thinking, I don't know exactly what they're gonna run either. So it's hard to say like we're fitting into a scheme because we're not. We're just going for talent right now, trying to look at some potential prospects. Take the Indianapolis trade. What would that drop us down to? That like 127? I like that. That's not that bad. We'll take it. And we'll move down a couple of spots. I think Marvin Wilson should still be there. I think he should be. Tommy Tremble is an interesting guy at Notre Dame. I got the pleasure of watching him. Kellen Mond goes at 121. Sean Wade goes at 124. Gillespie goes 125. What do we think about this one? Oh, now we're back with another one. Cold Strait is pretty good. Florida State has 2 edge players that look pretty solid. I'd go Tutu or Wilson. Let's see. Marvin Wilson is still there. Shaq-a-Tony. That's an awesome name. That nothing to do with the prospect. I just like his name. Cornerbacks, we don't got a whole lot left. Not a whole lot left at safety. Offensively, Trey Sermon's still on the board. That's an interesting look. Demetric Felton is still there. That's an interesting one. Tommy Tremble will put you on your back. Yes, he will. Tommy Tremble's a very solid player. The max pick any team can have in a draft is 20. Keep trading down. Do you want to trade down? Do we like this Falcons trade? We'd move down a lot, but we'd get 3 more picks out of it. Low-key, kind of like Demetric Felton. I kind of like that pickup. What are we thinking? What are we thinking? Demetric Felton's on the board. Trey Sermon's on the board. Anthony Schwartz is still there. No to Atlanta. All right. Might be saying the wrong wide receiver name. All right. We'll reject it. We got it. It's gone. So what are we thinking then at 127? Are we thinking what are we thinking? A little Marvin Wilson action? Are we thinking some Demetric Felton? I know there's a Jalen Darden. There's another guy on the board. Like, there's some talent here. What are we thinking, boys? This is your guys' class. This is your guys' draft class. Draft Felton, cut carry on, LOL. Devin Diablo? Is that from Virginia Tech? Is a box safety / linebacker. It's got a lot of athleticism. That's a guy to look at. Wilson. All right. I hear you guys. I hear you. Herbert. I don't know. Herbert's I haven't seen a lot of Khalil Herbert. Explosive ball carrier, comes off a career campaign, patiently waits for blocks to develop, runs in a balance, good body control, possesses vision. That's solid. What's his negatives? Not a big ball carrier who can move the pads, which is fine because we have Jamal Williams for that, or picks up yardage off initial contact. That's okay because we have DeAndre Swift. Lacks the speed to turn the perimeter. That's a little concerning. Low key, I'm thinking Darden. That's kind of my thought process. Or not Darden. I'm thinking Felton was kind of my guy. But it's up to you guys. What do you guys want? Vote in the chat. Because I'm thinking Demetric Felton. I'm thinking that Jalen Darden's a guy too. Lacks high. Possesses mismatch problems. If I possesses mismatch problems. Lacks true second gear and home run hitting speed. That does not sound nice. That does not sound nice. Darden's nice. Schwartz too. All right. Are we thinking Darden? Seems like a lot of people want Darden. All right. We'll go with him. We'll go Jalen Darden, wide receiver from North Texas. Let's see. Wilson, bro, disruptive force. If Wilson's still there with the next pick, we got to take him. I think he should be. There he is. Got a couple picks to go. Uh-oh. Stuff coming off the board. Come on. Nobody else take a defensive tackle. That's fine. Take your Monty Rices. One more pick. Oh, let's go. That's clutch. We'll reject that from the Vikings. We'll take Marvin Wilson right off the bat. I ain't even going to ask. I ain't even going to question. We'll take Marvin Wilson at 153 every single day. I like that trade. Or not that trade. I like that pick. Low key. What's 122? Is that because we'd be trading away a Detroit 6th. What was it? 211? That is his 6th round pick this year. I don't know if I want to give that up. Is Derek Barnes still available? I'll look it up. Yeah, he is. Derek Barnes from Purdue. Derek Barnes is still there. Darden in the NFL with all that junk, better learn how to grab and go and won't work on the next level. Darden sucks. Hey, everybody wanted Darden, so I went with Darden. That's just, how it is. It's a community draft. It's how we're going. Steve O, yes, your Derek Barnes is still there. Derek Barnes is still there. What is Derek Barnes? I've not seen him, so I'm just curious. I like how they say underrated or overrated. That's funny. Lacks height and may be tapped out physically, not fluid, flipping his hips in transition with tight ends or running backs in coverage. That kind of scares me a little bit. I'm not going to lie. We're thinking Steve-O is pretty adamant about taking Derek Barnes. What are we thinking? Derek Barnes is the move? What are we thinking? Derek Barnes, the move or nah? I don't know, man. I don't know. If nobody comments in the next like 30 seconds, I guess I gotta take Derek Barnes because it's the only one that I've been told to take. I'll go through some of the other guys. That's our cornerback class right now. That's what it's looking like. Nothing special. Hamlin, Richard LeCount is interesting. I actually thought he'd go a little higher. Likes great next level play speed. Not a stout tackler. I feel like Richard LeCount I've always thought was better than he is, but that's just me. Why not? LOL. He holds like every receiving record in his division. Yeah, fair enough. All right, let's go with Barnes. Let's take Barnes. Up here, Derek Barnes, linebacker out of Purdue, is the 165th pick. There's that one. Justin Hilliard, bro. Forgot even his existed. That's crazy. Let's go. Who else is on the board? Jared Patterson, our boy, is still there. If he went to Bama, he would have talked about like he was a first rounder. Look for Paris Ford for the safety Z. Did he go yet? I just want to know. I doubt it. Oh, look. I actually just was looking for him, but I didn't see him. Yeah, Paris Ford is still a ways down the board for even safeties, which I think is tragic, but yeah. So Paris Ford is still on the board. He's still up there. Could add another Ford to our secondary. Jamar. Oh, wait. Hold up. I know for a fact Jamar Johnson is I've seen Jamar Johnson. He is a good player. Possesses aggressive place. Oh, I said aggressive. Average play speed and isn't fast getting to the flanks. Most effective facing the action. Like that. If that's his only negative, like that's a good safety. Ford is slow and he headhunts. I'll pass. Like I said, if he's there like late in the rounds, I'll show up, but I don't know. I like Jamar Johnson. Jamar Johnson is one of my favorite players, one of my sleeper draft players. Cornell Powell is still there as well. Cornell Powell is an interesting one we could take a look at. So that's kind of what it's between for me. It's either Cornell. Well, I already kind of got two wide receivers. So for me, I'm thinking Jamar Johnson. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Jerry Rice didn't play Power 5. I don't think Jerry Rice, he went to like Mississippi Valley or something. He went to a really small school. Consistent progress in his game past 2 seasons. I like him. I like Jamar Johnson. What are we thinking? Dart is the most overrated wide receiver in this class, right behind Tony and Eskridge. You just don't like small wide receivers. Joey 2 times just doesn't like smaller wide receivers, which is fine. You don't got to, but Darden didn't run as fast as I thought he was going to. His time would have been a 4.53 if it was at the combine. If the guy shorter than 5'10 needs to run a 4.3. Hey, I asked everybody, and everybody was like, "Yeah, take Darden." So I took Darden, and everybody's yelling at me because I took Darden, and I'm sad. I'm just kidding. What are we thinking? Like, I kind of like Jamar. I kind of like Jamar Johnson, low key, just a little bit. Just a little bit. Is there a way to see who I got? I don't think so. Not to the end. All right. I'm going to take Jamar because we only have, Will Harris is not our guy. I didn't. Chasing outliers, the ultimate confirmed bias. Jamar has a good feel for the game. Yeah, he plays a lot. He is a very smart, instinctual player. I like him. That's who I'm taking at 206. That's who I'm taking. Show who you pick so far. I actually don't think you can do that until the end of the class. But we're almost done with it. We're almost done. And we'll go over the entire class that I picked, and we'll go over most of the first round too. Let's see. Darden is more than game speed than his 40. No, I don't like old wide receivers that didn't declare early or took 4 seasons to finally break out. But, they did. Eventually, they got there. So, I see where you're coming from. I get it. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. It is just how it is. I don't even know what our next pick is. We don't pick for a while, bro. Oh, we don't actually pick at all. That was our last pick. Okay, so this was our class. I'm not mad at this one. I'm not mad at this one. So this was our class. This was the class that you guys actually drafted. So it started off with Jamar Chase falling to the 7th overall pick. This was a no-brainer. This was a guy that you pretty much need to take, right? I mean, everybody was pretty consensus. Don't trade down. Don't go anywhere. Get our boy Jamar Chase. At 42, we took Tevin Jenkins, really solidified that right tackle position, really kind of got that last guy in there to fill out the entire of the offensive line. I was pretty happy with this pick. Andre Sisco, 3rd round, pretty solid value, pretty good player, especially after a trade down. Chaz Surratt, as I've been told. Don't know a lot about him, but you guys seem pretty high on him. I definitely got to look at him. Deontay Brown, I mean, can never really go wrong with Bama offensive linemen. We would be lucky to get that kind of draft class. He says, I love Rondale Moore. Rondale Moore, yeah, I like him. Jalen Darden at 127. A lot of discrepancy of that pick, but I was okay with it. Marvin Wilson at 153 I thought was good. Derek Barnes at 165 was good. Jamar Johnson was one of my favorite players at 206, and I didn't realize that was the last pick, but that's what we were. Why did you take a guard? Because everybody told me to, and because that fills out our last offensive line spot, and that would leave that actually give us a lot, and then we could rotate with what's his name? We could rotate with Crosby and Big V, and that would literally give us 7 strong across the offensive line. All of our starting 5, well, 4 of our starting 5, not counting, of course, not being on a rookie contract anymore, would be Taylor Decker, but that would give us 4 guys on their rookie contracts across the offensive line and guys that could play really good, guys that could step in. So, and everybody told me to take a guard, so I figured. And I'm not going to lie, I just remembered that the kid we took from Kentucky last year was alive. I just remembered that Logan Stenberg was there. Now I kind of regret that pick, but that's okay. More competition, I'm okay with it. Honestly, these picks won't kill us. I love it. Trey Lance and Zach Wilson only had 1 good season. That's true. That's true. Why take a guard? Stenberg isn't very good. Brown takes over. We move on from Big V. I mean, I haven't seen Stenberg play, so I forgot. We have Stenberg and the Ohio kid. Yeah, Jonah Jackson's going to start. I'm not going to lie. I forgot Stenberg was there. All this mock draft got me eager for the upcoming draft. I know. I'm like addicted to doing mock drafts because they're so much fun. I also picked up a 2023 from the Giants, 2022 3rd. Who will be surprised? Tyra Williams or Rashad Perryman? One has to be, in my opinion. I think Tyra Williams is going to surprise. I think he's going to have a really good season. It'd be dope if Holmes could trade back to get that many picks. Yeah, I'd be happy with it. It's more about BMI when it comes to wide receivers than just being short and being skinny. Tall and skinny is almost bad as short and skinny. I agree. Just got in wide receiver there. Was there a trade down at 7? No, there wasn't. We actually picked up Jamar Chase because he fell, and everybody felt like that was the right pick. I would have taken Felton over Darden. That was what I was deciding between. And personally, I would have done that, but everybody seemed to like Darden a little bit better. So that's why that's why I decided to pick up. Looney 2 says, I say Perryman, but I just want to see this speed be used on the field. Yeah. Khalif is a return and a deep ball guy. That's true. That is true as well. Let's see. Dom both, but neither will be a true wide receiver 1. That's true. But like I said, you don't necessarily need some elite, like all pro, all world wide receiver to be successful in the NFL. You just need guys that can be efficient. You just need guys that do their job. And I see no reason why Tyra Williams nor Rashad Perryman couldn't do that for them. So I was happy with that. I like this draft class. I thought this was a solid one. That's what we got. We got Jamar Chase, Tevin Jenkins, Andre Sisco, Chaz Surratt, Deontay Brown, Jalen Darden, Marvin Wilson, Derek Barnes, and Jamar Johnson. The only guy that I would have probably changed going back is probably Deontay Brown. Probably Deontay Brown, to be honest. But you live and learn. But neither are true wide receiver 1. You could have took Schwartz from Auburn. I could have taken Schwartz from Auburn as well. That's true. That was kind of that was the third guy instead of Darden that was talked about. So yeah, could have, but live and learn. Live and learn. I'm good with getting Chase and still getting Jenkins in the second round. I doubt that will happen. Somebody has to slip out of the first round. That's true. That's very, very true. Nah, Brown is a strong dude. Yeah, but we still got a lot of offensive line competition, so I was just a little unsure. We might take a running back next year. Kerryon will be gone. It depends if Kerryon wants to come back or not. It depends if he's willing to re-sign for something smaller, or obviously depending on what he does this year. You never know. He might have a good year this year. He might have a solid season. So, with that being said, we're about to hit over the 2-hour mark. We're about at 1 hour 55 minutes, about to get there. So, I think we're going to call it pretty soon. I have a couple things I do want to run by you guys actually before we get off. I had a couple ideas, I guess, about potential ways to spice up these streams. One of them would be doing like a full first round mock draft with every single team, no trades, just going all the way down, all the way through the first round, going through pick by pick, kind of just getting an idea of how to expect and what to expect when draft night comes around. So that was my first idea. My second idea that I actually put up on a poll and nobody responded to, which kind of hurt my feelings, was potentially doing a film review, doing a film breakdown on a potential prospect. So like we would go find tape, we'd go find film on whatever prospect you guys wanted to see, and we would watch a full game, maybe 2 games of him, kind of get a good feel for the prospect, whether that be a top prospect in this draft or a sleeper prospect or something like that. We could always do that. That could be interesting. That could be fun as well. So those were kind of my 2 ideas to spice up, kind of change up a couple of our streams in the upcoming future. Let me know what you guys think about it. Let me know what would you guys be interested in doing, like a film review? Would you guys be interested in doing like a full first round mock draft with every single NFL team in it? I'm trying to think of ways to bring in new people, right? The mock draft would obviously do that. That would kind of bring every NFL fandom in. That could be beneficial and kind of be a good idea for everybody. That would include every NFL fandom, not just the Lions. And then same thing with the film review, right? It might be for the Detroit Lions, and we might talk about how we could fit Detroit, but it could always apply to other people. It could always apply to other fans as well. He says, let's do a live mock draft panel, have 5 or 6 of us represent different teams. We could do that. If you are interested in that, go over to my Instagram, go over there and follow my Instagram and just DM me if you want to be on that. I could pick probably up to 10 people, have 3 teams each, and go from there. So we could do that. That could be fun. I'd have fun with that. That could be a fun one. Oh, that's a good idea. Let me write that down real quick. That's smart. I like that. I like that a lot. All righty. That's a good idea. See, that's why I ask you guys, because you guys are smarter than me at this stuff. Let's see it. All right. So mock draft with the panel, that could be really fun. That's a very good idea. What do you guys think about the potential breakdowns? Would you be interested in that? Interested? No. I have a Twitter too. If you have Twitter, you can go do that. Or I could just write your name down and I can send you something. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. Like you could, if you want, you could just literally just leave like your email in the comments or something. Like we could do that as well. So, but if you want to be on it, then that's fine. We'll do it on YouTube. I was just trying to find a way to get like names, kind of put people together. So, all right, hold up. Let me write that down really quickly. Mock draft panel, and then I'll write down your email really quickly. So TMEKERSON 94. All right, bet. All right. I'll definitely get you in there. If anybody else is interested, feel free to DM on Instagram or Twitter. I'll take up to 10, maybe 11 people. So we'll figure that out. It's official. We get 17 games next season. It's gonna be tough trying to say right. I know it's already a weird thing. I don't know. I don't usually go to Dion's Michigan live streams. Is Michigan in the Sweet 16? Yes, they are. I'm going to start a fantasy league if any of y'all are interested. SY Gray on Twitter. All right. So if any of you are interested in that, or any of you are interested in the prospect day breakdowns, let me know that. But with that being said, we're about to click over the 2-hour mark. We're about to hit that 2 hours. Today was an awesome stream. Today was fantastic. I woke up to 1,000 subscribers. I woke up to you guys congratulating me almost as soon as I announced, as soon as I created the live stream. Everybody was like, congratulations, and starting and debating about Lions. So that's pretty cool. I appreciate it. Appreciate all the support so far. I appreciate everybody helping me hit that 1,000 subscriber mark. It's the first of many goals that we are going to hit as a community. So I appreciate it. Looney Tunes says, congrats on the 1K fam. Thank you so very much. But with that being said, that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you all so very much for tuning in. I believe we hit over 50 people on the stream at one time today, which was awesome. So with that being the case, that's all I got for you guys today. I'll be back tomorrow with some more Lions content. But until then, that's all I got for you guys right now. Thank you all so very much for watching. I'll answer this one. Steve-O says, don't you have super chats now? I have applied for the channel to be monetized, but it does take a couple of weeks for YouTube to review my channel and to make sure that I'm not breaking any rules or laws before they can do that. So in a couple of weeks by draft time, that should be available, but that is not quite up just yet. But with that being said, that's all I got for you guys. Thank you all for coming out to the stream. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all tomorrow with some more Lions content. Thank you all for watching. Bye, guys.